If there's one thing that Chris and Jordan Upchurch have in common, it's that they both knew what they were going to do when they grew up. Chris is a fifth-generation farmer, and Jordan is fourth, and they both knew they were going to carry on the family tradition.
Farming's been in my blood. I grew up, going with my dad, with my granddad, through the chicken houses, through the cows, wanting to farm full time.
I'm the youngest of three girls, and I've always been a daddy's girl. I've gone with him from day one, and I've been the one that's kind of wanted to keep his farm in our family.
The Upchurches produce poultry and cattle on their 400-acre operation just north of Lineville in Clay County. Chris built his 3 66 by 600 mega houses just after he graduated from Auburn in 2009.
We're growing a 6-pound bird. We're keeping them 43, 45 days right now to get a 6-pound chicken. We're putting out about 900,000 pounds of meat per flock. So that'd be right at over 5 million pounds of meat per year. Since we've had chicken houses, we've raised over 7 million chickens.
Because poultry production is such a big industry in Clay County, Chris says he's been able to diversify his operation by helping other farmers dispose of litter and prepare their houses in between flocks.
We're cleaning out houses for the local farmers, using some of that litter for fertilizer on our fields, and then in turn hauling it off 75, 85 miles, sometimes 100 miles. We haul litter, haul shavings, we can do it as little or as much as the farmer wants. The farmer can go on vacation if he wants to, and we'll have the houses ready for him when he gets back.
Chris says they also bale a lot of hay, both for themselves and commercially for other farmers. His herd of 130 brood cows has grown from the 7 he bought when he was just 10 years old. He and Jordan say they're looking forward to passing along their love of agriculture to their son Charlie when he arrives next month.
I like to see when a baby chicken comes to us, watching those chickens grow, watching that baby calf from the time it's born to the time it leaves my farm, knowing that it's going to a feed yard to be taken care of as well as I've been taking care of it, to one day be on a plate for the consumer.
After spending the past 2 years as a 7th grade history teacher, Jordan has decided to be a stay-at-home mom when Charlie arrives.
It's all about family for us. That's my favorite thing about doing it. I worked in town for a couple of years and I enjoyed teaching. That was great, but I get to have the same effect on the future generations on the farm. Teaching people about agriculture is just as important as teaching about history in school.
As Jordan's dad contemplates his retirement, the Upchurches are making plans to expand their operation to keep the farms on both sides of the family running.
He's getting ready for retirement, and he has 11 houses, 300,000 birds on his farm. We're talking about purchasing the big farm, and upon his retirement, we're always hoping to expand our cow farm and maybe even adding a few more trucks on the road.
Outstanding Young Farm Family finalists Chris and Jordan Upchurch of Clay County. Like a lot of young people, Chad Grant grew up working on his family's poultry operation. But once he graduated, Chad says he never wanted to see another chicken. After 10 years of working on cars, however, he started to reconsider.
Once I got out in the real world and was inside a shop all day long, not going outside except to drive a car out and pull another car in, it made me realize how good a farm is, how nice it would be to wake up, be your own boss every day and go to work for yourself instead of someone else.
So in 2014, Chad bought 4 66 by 600 foot mega houses from his dad, and later 2 adjacent houses his brother had built. Today, Southern Comfort Farms produces about 10.5 million pounds of meat each year.
We grow the big bird, which is around anywhere from a 8-pound to 8.5-pound chicken on average, depending on how many days they let them go. We keep them about 8 weeks, 56 to 57 days normally, and we grow 5 flocks a year.
Chad says a lot of people think a large farm focuses more on quantity than quality. But to be successful in the poultry business, you have to produce the best bird possible. And technology helps achieve that, in addition to relieving some of the stress on the farmer.
You can manage everything on that computer from my iPad or my phone. As long as I've got Wi-Fi or 4G service, I can pull my farm up, I can look at it. We've put in cameras at the farm. I can take and go from my phone or iPad, my house, take and get a visual look at everything.
Managing litter is not only an environmental concern. Chad says it's another way to boost his bottom line. He's invested in equipment to handle the chore himself rather than hiring someone else to do it, and it's paid off.
You find one farmer that'll take all of it, and y'all work out a good price and handle it all yourself, you can pretty much double your money, if not more than that, compared to hiring a litter broker to come in and clean your houses out. So we handle all of our litter sales, we load it, clean the houses out all on our own.
Even though Chad wasn't exactly crazy about his time on the farm as a teenager, he's glad that his children will have the opportunity to continue a 7-generation family tradition in agriculture.
Maybe they're making memories they can look back on and have the same memories that I have growing up, playing on the hay bales, stuff like that.
They're going to have that work ethic that some folks don't see, especially, you know, the farmers have to be out here in this heat. They're getting to see that and see that it is a lot of work, but there's also a lot of reward when you're willing to put in that work.
Heather and Chad met when he was making the transition from mechanic back to farmer. Not coming from a farming background herself, Heather says she wasn't real sure that was such a good idea at the time.
I had anticipated a chicken coop, the old silver chicken coops in the backyard, and then to come out and see how big of an operation a chicken farm actually is and what is involved in it and how it is a business, and it's a very good business for us. It was a shock. Just the sheer size of it is really surprising.
In spite of their earlier doubts, Chad and Heather say they feel fortunate to be right where God intended for them to be.
We're very blessed that we're able to do this and make a living at it and have this lifestyle, because it's one that's really a God-given blessing.
From Butler County, outstanding young farm family finalists Chad and Heather Grant and their children Abigail, Levi, and Will. Neither Gannon Nunnally nor his wife Kristen grew up on a farm, but it was a love of agriculture that ultimately brought them together.
What ultimately drew me to the FFA was the stringman competition, and that's actually where Gannon and I met. And so I didn't really get into the agricultural side of the FFA until I became a chapter officer and started going to a lot of the leadership type events.
4 years after they married, the Nunnallys started looking for a way to make their dream of farming come true. Although it took a while, they were able to purchase a nearby poultry operation.
We are a 6-house broiler operation. We generally have a 9.5 pound bird, and we have a 9-week grow out. Our houses are 96 models, so they're getting some age on them, but we have been able to stay upgraded.
While the Nunnallys aren't carrying on a family farming tradition, Kristen's parents have actually followed their daughter and son-in-law's footsteps into the poultry business.
There are 12 there. There's 6 of them are mine, 6 of them are my father-in-law's. And like I said, it's kind of interesting thing. My wife's grandfather owned a business in town, and when he retired, he sold his business, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law had always worked there. So when the business sold, they were looking for something else. And so we had already got into contract on this farm, and actually the other farm was also for sale. And I said, well, hey, would you be interested in selling to my father-in-law? So I think we signed papers in May, and I believe they signed them like the 1st of April.
When the Nunnallys bought their 72-acre farm, Gannon says there wasn't a fence post on the place. Over the next 2 years, though, he cleared timber, built fences, and expanded into beef cattle production.
We've tried to be diversified in that. We try to keep some registered stock, you know, either to sell or to hold back, raise our own bulls or keep our own females.
Although running their operation keeps them busy, Gannon and Kristen make time to share what they've learned with the next generation of farmers. After falling in love with FFA in high school, Kristen has become an FFA advisor and ag teacher.
I give them a little bit of a glimpse of all the different aspects of the agricultural industry. We kind of bounce around from animal science to plant science to some ag mechanics, and so we do a little bit of everything in that class.
The Nunnallys also employ some of those students on their farm. It helps them with the shortage of labor in the area, but more importantly, it gives the young people hands-on experience in agriculture.
We've been fortunate enough to have some really great kids to come and work on the farm, and we have watched them transform from that very shy, bashful, I don't know about this, and over the course of a year, it's amazing when you give them those experiences and give them the opportunity to try different things at how much they really do grow.
Gannon and Kristen say it's important that they educate young people about agriculture, and those lessons begin with their children, 7-year-old Cooper and 4-year-old Adelaide.
I always wanted to grow up on a farm. It just never really worked out. I kind of feel like anything that you need to know about life, you can learn on a farm.
They know that our animals come first because they depend on us 100%. And so no matter what is going on, if there's a baseball game or if there's dance class, you know, we have to make sure that all the animals are taken care of before we can go and enjoy those things.
From Franklin County, outstanding young farm family finalists Gannon and Kristen Nunnally and their children, Cooper and Adelaide.